Oh, absolutely, brother. And we have several people in the switchboard today, and we have to remind everyone that if you do want to voice your opinion on whether or not you think Floyd Mayweather will indeed fight on free TV September 12th, please press 1 to be interjected into the host queue. That signals me and lets me know that you guys actually want to chime in. So, and that's pretty much the big topic of the day, right?
Right.
It's been apparently last night, a lot of people started putting out an article, and it's a swirling rumor floating around the boxing community right now that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is likely to be fighting on Saturday, September 12th on free TV CBS. Now, guys, it's funny, and just by speaking with people within the boxing community, and I asked Ronnie Shields, elite level trainer Ronnie Shields, who has a show every Tuesday night, customarily on War Week Radio Network. I asked him a couple of weeks ago, you know, all of the rumors that always float around the internet, I said, how much of them, what is the percentage of them that actually come to fruition, and how much of that is BS? And he said, well, to be honest with you, Joseph, he goes, everyone within the boxing community, they're like a bunch of gossiping women. They love to gossip. They love to spread rumors. They like that attention. And they just, some of them catch fire, but very few of them ever come to fruition. And he'd say, just judging by what I know and my experience, my tenure within the boxing community, I'd have to say it's about 5% that actually come true. That's 1 out of 20, guys. And he's not exaggerating. So several things to figure into this, right? And we're going to go through every single one of them. We're going to go through, Floyd's reputation. You know, people were trying to boycott pay-per-view. How many mainstream outlets and corporations and just people, right, just within today's society, in this era of political correctness, how many people are going to, you think, raise the picket sign for this event on free TV? With Floyd's, well-documented history of domestic violence, do you think CBS is willing to take a chance on putting this on free TV and guaranteeing Floyd Mayweather $32 million? Rodney, in your opinion, and we're going to get into all of this, guys. We're going to get into the last time a controversial boxing figure was featured on free TV. Now, you have to go way back to 1995 for that one, right? So, Rodney, I'm asking you, what is the likelihood of this happening?
Slim and none. And, you have several slim and none, and I believe Slim has left the building, if I'm not mistaken. But, yeah. And like you say, so you have several impediments to make this, for it to come to fruition. But most importantly, you hit it right on the nail. You have Floyd is guaranteed $32 million or $33 million. I just don't see that that's possible with that type of huge guarantee. Okay. Now, I don't know how they're gonna manipulate the numbers or make it work, but that seems like that's a daunting task within itself. But just to piggyback on what Ronnie Shields says, you get a lot of irresponsible or sloppy journalism in today's era of boxing, where you have people who just tend to, I believe they write things because it just sounds good, Joseph. Doesn't really carry a lot of punch or a lot of merit. And these guys know in their hearts of heart that the reality of that happening is very small. But for whatever reason, though, they put that type of nonsense out there, and they're hoping that it catches, some type of momentum. And oftentimes it does. And what happens is, it really is misleading, misinforming. And it's just sad. It's bad all around. But I just cannot see Floyd fighting September the 12th. Now, you would have thought that he would have announced his opponent by now. Maybe that's why they're, putting out this rubbish and this ridiculous rumors to where they can maybe get a response from Team Mayweather or some kind of rebuttal. I don't believe that's going to, accelerate them as far as announcing an opponent, any more rapidly than it would if they hadn't, put that rubbish out. But it is somewhat interesting that, we're going almost in the middle of July and Floyd still hasn't named an opponent. Because, Joseph, it takes at least a good month if you're going to promote the fight, maybe do a press tour. With it being his last fight, you would think they would kind of, pull out all stops. So, the fact that they haven't announced the fight yet, knowing it takes a good, like you say, 60 days for a training camp and to properly promote it, that's somewhat perplexing to me, though. But I'm sure now, here's the thing, maybe he won't fight in September. I don't know. I don't know what his plans are, but I believe he's getting, a lot of the boxing world a little bit anxious to kind of, get that clarified or cleared up to kind of see what direction he's going to go in. Because oftentimes, once Floyd decides which opponents he's going to pick and choose, we kind of get a domino effect. The rest of the top fighters go ahead and start to go in other directions or seek different opponents. So, he kind of has everybody waiting on eggshells as far as his announcement. So we're going to get a little bit more crazy interjections and crazy hypotheticals until he officially announces what he's going to do as far as September the 12th.
Well, a couple things to take into consideration, brother. First of all, here's the thing. His opponent, announcing his opponent, it doesn't even matter because there's no one outside of Manny Pacquiao, right, who's going to be able to sell this event. They're already planning on marketing this event on the strength of this being Floyd's swan song, right? So they're in no hurry. They couldn't care less who Floyd fights, right? And after making $220 million plus in his last outing, $32 million to him, that's like fighting for free, right? So don't look for him to renegotiate that because to him fighting for a measly $32 million rock is somewhat charitable on his case, in his mind, right? After making that kind of coin. So they're getting a bargain if he doesn't renegotiate the $32 million, right? And I'm surprised that he doesn't want more after how much he made in his last event. So don't expect him to go any lower than that. Now, you look at Floyd Mayweather's career. How much money does he make per year from endorsement deals?
Zero.
That's not by coincidence, guys. You mean he doesn't try to get sponsorship? He doesn't even bother with it? Look, you see all the trouble that Heyman and PBC is having in trying to get sponsorship. Guys, I hate to fill you in on this, but boxing right now, among mainstream and casual sports fans, as well as corporate sponsors, Forbes 500 companies, boxing has a bit of an image problem, and Floyd Mayweather doesn't help this cause any. There's no look. If you're wondering, well, let's say Floyd does the Heyman method and does a time buy, okay, and takes it upon himself to try and get sponsorship for this event. Doesn't want to leave any money on the table, right? Do you think he's going to risk that? Do you think he's going to do that on contingency? You think he's going to fight on contingency without a guarantee? Hell no. Do you think CBS is dumb enough to guarantee $32 million and put this on airtime depending on whether or not they're going to be able to sell ad space and sponsorship? They'd be damn fools to do it. Guys, the only way that they're going to guarantee $32 million on September 12th, which, rest assured, Rodney, Floyd is fighting on September 12th. MGM has already been booked. That date has already been slated. Okay, it's already been scheduled for the MGM Grand at September 12th, right? The only way that CBS Showtime is going to honor that contract and guarantee $32 million to Floyd Mayweather is by putting it on the pay-per-view platform. They already know that the chances of them losing money on this deal is an almost inevitable guarantee. But let's look at this in a cost-effective manner, okay? What's the way we can lose the least amount of money? Is if we choose a cost-effective opponent, one that's not going to demand $1 million, slap a really just a lackluster fight card underneath it for guys who are willing to fight virtually for free, and just market it on the fact that it's Floyd's final fight. Oh, yeah, and we'll still slap our customary $70 price tag on this pay-per-view event. Even if we sell only 500,000 on this thing, boy,
right.
we're still at least recouping something, right?
Yeah.
Hey, and maybe it might surprise us. Maybe we might actually sell maybe 800,000 or 900,000 of these things. Maybe these guys will tune in and buy this just because it's Floyd's advertised final fight. So that's the only way I see this actually taking place. Floyd finding a basically trajectory opponent, a guy like Kareem Mayfield or Andre Berto, even Amir Khan isn't going to justify and support those kind of figures that they're looking for to support a $32 million guarantee from Floyd. Okay, but make no mistake about this, guys. It would be a complete disaster if CBS decided to air this thing on free TV. Think about how many people would be picketing this, right? And even if it did get high ratings, that doesn't make a damn difference if no one is willing to sponsor the event. Keep in mind, this isn't a series, right?
Right.
And to support my theory, let's go back in time to December of 1995, when Mike Tyson, convicted rapist, right? It was his second fight back after he faced Hurricane McNeely, right? He was facing Buster Mathis Jr., and it was on Fox. Well, guess what? It did great numbers. It did a Nielsen rating of 16.1 with a 28% share. And at the time, it was Fox's highest rated evening of programming ever. According to the numbers, that equates to 43 million people that viewed all or part of the telecast, right? And on the undercard of that was Terry Norris versus Paul Vaden.
Yep, that's true.
Whoa, those are great numbers. So why didn't they go back to that? Why didn't they do it again? Because even though it did great numbers, very few companies were willing to buy ad space at the kind of dollars that they were demanding. So guess what? His next fight against Frank Bruno went right back on the pay-per-view platform.
Yep,
Experiment, even though it did good numbers, yeah, it didn't sell very well, man. So,
yeah,
guys, and keep in mind, you look at those numbers, those are inflated because those are back in 1995. Just to keep this relative, okay, that same weekend on Friday night, on HBO, there was another fight going on between Oscar De La Hoya and Jesse James Leija in Madison Square Garden. That fight did a cable rating of 14.6 with a 23% share. Rodney, when is the last time any boxing broadcast on HBO has done those kinds of numbers?
Man, I can't recall. I mean, that is, wow. Yeah, that was when Oscar was really, he had really captivated all of America, and he was really blossoming into the golden boy. And I can't recall, Joseph, when that has been duplicated, to be honest, though. Those are massive numbers right there. Those kind of numbers, they don't grow on trees. It doesn't happen week in or week out. So very impressive, though. Very impressive to get those kind of ratings.
Now keep in mind, that was when boxing was still a major mainstream commodity in America. Okay, fast forward 2 decades. Now we're talking
Yeah.
the aftermath of Mayweather-Pacquiao, when boxing, its image is at an all-time low among mainstream and casual sports fans. And we see this in PBC's current numbers. They're slipping every single week, or every single time out, with every single event, right? Do you really think CBS is going to roll the dice on this, guaranteeing Floyd $32 million? Now, keep in mind, okay, Fox, CBS, ABC, NBC, and ESPN, they pay out a ton of money for their mainstream sports entertainment. Just to give you an example, guys. ESPN, in a 12-year deal to air all college playoffs, okay, just agreed to pay out over 12 years $7.3 billion.
That's NCAA
that is a
right?
ton of money.
Right.
No, that's college football. Now, NCAA basketball for CBS, that's an entirely different animal right there, and the numbers are comparable. But keep in mind, right, for the last college bowl game, the championship game, right, it actually attracted 33 million viewers, right? And they're paying out this much. So you're like, wow. But that's a guaranteed moneymaker. That's something that they can actually charge big sponsorship and advertisement dollars. That's a proven moneymaker. That's something that attracts Fortune 500 companies. Floyd Mayweather? Look at his history of sponsorship, guys. I can tell you with great certainty that this rumor is a bunch of BS, and it isn't going to happen unless Les Moonves has gone senile over the last 2 months. Your final thoughts on this, brother, before we move on? Because this is a bunch of hooey.
Yeah, I mean, the chances of that happening is slim to none. And, at this point, we just wait for his decision. And it shows you, though, Joseph, that, well, how Floyd is treating this. Like, look, $32 million, look, that's just chump change. However, I am obligated to this contract. Let me just fulfill it and get it out the way with. And that just seems to be his approach. So, so be it. But don't look for him to fight on CBS or, you're hearing things that, Floyd can save PBC with one fight. I mean, a lot of just ludicrous, statements that's coming from this. But at the end of the day, you know what? Let him fight his sixth fight and fulfill his obligation. If it's Andre Berto or Kareem Mayfield or whoever it may be, well, like you say, at this point, they just want to make sure they don't take a substantial loss and maybe still be able to, accept them being in the red, but not so much to where it just really puts them behind the eight ball for, quite a while. Because, like I say, $32 million, man. And if you only do maybe 400 or 500 maybe in pay-per-view, and I really think this is going to be Floyd's lowest pay-per-view in quite some time. I'm hearing diehard Floyd fans saying, you know what, I'm not going to buy this fight. And if that holds true, look for this to be his lowest pay-per-view, probably since maybe
Carlos Baldomir. Since Carlos Baldomir, you have to go that far back, dude.
Right, yeah, Carlos Baldomir.
That was when he was actually, now this is how long ago that was. That's when he was actually using Goose and Tudor Promotions as his promoter of choice to support this pay-per-view. Goose and Tudor.
Okay. Right.
So, Goose and Tudor and Don King.
So look for that to be his lowest pay-per-view since Carlos Baldomir. And Showtime and CBS, they will take a hit. It's just a matter of how huge of a hit they're going to take because, I really think that, Floyd is just really kind of want to get it over with, kind of reach thing. Well, after Manny Pacquiao didn't really whet the palate of so many diehard boxing fans and so many new boxing fans that was expecting, something different. Look forward to showing this next pay-per-view. And those are my final thoughts right there.
Yeah, look, unless Floyd is feeling mighty charitable, right? And the last time I checked, he wasn't charitable unless he was in a strip club, right? But when it comes to inside the ring, no, Floyd feels no charity. This is all business. Yeah. But unless he feels charitable and renegotiates that $32 million guarantee with CBS Showtime, guys, this isn't going to end up on free TV. No way. Les Moonves is not in the business of losing money. With all the money that they've just made, right, and with nothing on the horizon, if you think like, well, maybe this is a promotional effort. Dude, this is the final fight on his contract. What are they promoting?
Right. This is it.
Right? It would have made a lot more sense to put his fight with Robert Guerrero, the first fight of a 6-fight series, on free TV. That would have made a lot more sense now, wouldn't it? But his final fight of the contract? What would they be promoting? Nothing. Nothing, guys. Yeah. Come on, use your brain. Yeah. This is not going to end up on free TV. My goodness. Right. Now, look, is it what he should do as somewhat of a reparation for raving all of these mainstream and casual fight fans who thought Pacquiao had a chance in this fight? Should he do it? Absolutely. Should he do it for the best thing for boxing, for the health of the sport, something to give back to the fans? Should he do that? Absolutely. That would be a great move for the health of boxing. But, Rodney, let me ask you something. When is the last time Floyd Mayweather has done anything for the health of boxing?
Oh, my God. I can't even recall when he's really just thought about putting boxing first and doing something that would benefit the sport. Just from, a goodwill perspective, though. That's just not who Floyd is at this stage of his career. As you said earlier, it's just business. It's business, and he's going to try to capitalize on every dime that he can get. So, anybody who's hoping that, he's going to do it for the sport and he's going to do it. I think, man, what people are have a misunderstanding, I should say, is that they saw Floyd on NBC a couple of weeks ago when he did the promotions. And a lot of times, it's easy to get that ignorance and say, oh, well, we saw him on CBS, NBC, and, it's possible that maybe he's going to, be on regular TV or regular network with his last fight, and that's just not the way it works, though, because at the end of the day, Floyd is not going to accept nothing less than that 32 or 33. To do that, that would just be a slap to his ego. A guy by the name who goes by money and who has made $220 million the previous fight, now he's going to go back to making $32 million, and you want him to even take a lesser cut than that? No, that's not going to happen. I mean, just the reality of that, you might as well go ahead and scratch that theory. So, it is what it is, and I just hope that, they can go ahead and get it over with, because I'm ready for this type of, what can I say? Just this behavior or this type of somewhat of a sideshow almost, or where it gets all the focus of the attention to somewhat go away and to be done with it, though. Floyd has kind of occupied the sport in a sense that when people, or when you get, how Wall Street becomes occupied. When people get upset and they take to Wall Street and everything, I feel he's done that to boxing as well. And we just hope he go ahead and fulfills his obligation and gets it over with. But as I previously said, I really believe, though, this is going to be a very, very low pay-per-view as far as the success rate for Floyd Mayweather. So, it is what it is, and we'll just see But whoever they announce, whether it's Kareem Mayfield or Andre Berto, it is what it is. I mean, I don't see that excitement level or that really type of energy or that really support where it's going to, create that excitement for the fans as a whole, and it's going to reflect. It's going to reflect in the pay-per-view numbers. On the bright side, his obligation will be filled, and the key, what I'm interested in, Joseph, will Showtime renegotiate with him again? Where does he go from here?
Hell no, dude. Hell no. Look, Rodney, the only reason why they were so interested in signing him to that 6-fight guarantee of $32 million per fight is because they were hoping to force him into a Pacquiao fight, or maybe even a Pacquiao two fights with Manny Pacquiao. That's the only reason why they did that. And they based this model off of the numbers that he did against Miguel Cotto on HBO. That's why they guaranteed him the $32 million. But after this entire experience and only making a profit on 2 fights out of the 6, and I'm concluding this because there's no way in Hades that this 6th fight makes a profit, as long as they don't renegotiate that $32 million guarantee. But this is how funny Mayweather fans are, right? Listen to this. This is what someone actually, and we love fight fans, and guys, we have the utmost respect for everyone, and we love your passion, but your passion for a specific fighter will often cloud your judgment. And here's a case in point, right? And someone who I'm not going to name, he just made a comment on the show's comment board, right? He said, boy, Mayweather on CBS. Mayweather on CBS would blow May 2nd out of the water. It would produce Super Bowl type numbers.
Okay.
Really? 110 million viewers? Really? It would produce over 100 million viewers?
Seen all over the world.
Guys, look, guys. One of the things we pride ourselves in having this show, right, and having the great 6-decade fight promoter and matchmaker Don Chargan as a mentor, right? Who's been dubbed by most within the boxing community as the most knowledgeable man in boxing, right? Is because we like to keep everyone grounded and keep them from living in fantasy land 24/7. Because right there, that kind of mentality, that kind of thinking, Super Bowl type numbers, that's living in fantasy land, guys. Really? 110 million? Really? Nationwide? That's like a third of the American population tuning in.
Yeah.
Really? You think a third is going to tune in to watch Floyd Mayweather Jr.?
Right.
Really?
And do you actually think you would get the sponsorships or sponsors knocking at the door? You know what they pay for sponsorships during Super Bowl? Some of the commercials and some of the corporate dollars that's generated. I mean, so these guys, I mean, and that's the thing. It's so easy to get distorted, man, with, people, they're so passionate about Floyd. And, you're right, man. He's done, he's going to go down. I mean, Hall of Famer, first ballot, and that's done a lot. But we can't lose our perspective, though. We really can't. And just from being around the sport and knowing the sport, I'm sorry, this will be his lowest pay-per-view than Carlos Baldomir. Now, I don't know if that hurts Floyd's ego more or if it hurts the fans, or hurts his fans more. But this is the reality of it, though. After, like you say, the disappointment of the Pacquiao fight with a huge consensus from the public, how they feel, I mean, it's really a no-win situation with the way he has his salary set up, or his guarantee. I mean, it's a no-win for Showtime, and Floyd, he's just kind of going to go through the motions And I think that's kind of the reason why they selected their opponent. It's kind of like, whatever, let's get it over with.
Well, Rodney, and I'm really surprised. And I'm really surprised at Showtime, after they got their beloved Pacquiao fight, right? I'm really surprised that they didn't say, you know what, Floyd, we know you really want to retire. We'll just let you opt out of your contract. You don't have to fight, man. In fact, let's just call it even, eh?
Yeah.
I'm genuinely surprised that Showtime didn't want to, well, let Floyd opt out of his final fight. Because it's pretty obvious he's already packed it in.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, he's not interested in fighting a guy like Amir Khan or Keith Thurman or Sean Porter or Kell Brook or Tim Bradley. He's not interested in fighting anyone like that. Hey, September 12th, it's either going to be Kareem Mayfield or Andre Berto. And then that's it for me. Wow. And once again, guys, Kareem Mayfield, and I feel so bad for the poor guy, he's lobbying for this fight, trying to actually make headlines saying, oh, yeah, he knows he's going to give the boy a chance, man, because he knows I busted up Amir Khan and Manny Pacquiao in sparring. Guys, the only reason why Kareem Mayfield was even mentioned is to try and make Andre Berto sound better. That's the only reason why, brother. It's Andre Berto, guys. That's it. He's going to be fighting Andre Berto on September 12th. No Amir Khan. No Keith Thurman. No Sean Porter. Well, dude, who's left? Who's he going to fight? Who's he going to fight?
What?
From Heyman's stable, who's he going to fight? Victor Ortiz again?
Right.
Who's he going to fight? Robert the Ghost Guerrero again?
You can't fight Oscar. Oscar's staying retired, so you can't fight the Golden Boy. Yeah.
Okay, so when you look at all of Heyman's fighters, who's left? Malignaggi? Garcia? They're already tied up for August 1st. Who's he going to fight?
Yeah.
Guys, it's Andre Berto. Do you really think CBS is going to get him a guarantee of $32 million on free TV on the strength of Andre Berto and his final fight? Hell no. So, guys, let's just put that to rest and change the subject. And let's just hope that these boxing scribes, guys putting out this news, right? Let's just hope that they actually get a clue, man. My goodness. Very disheartening that this is the kind of crap that we read on the internet in terms of boxing news. Very disheartening.